If your baby hit 4 months and suddenly started waking up like they're clocking in for a night shift, you didn't ruin anything. This isn't your baby becoming dramatic. This is your baby's sleep getting upgraded. And I know that upgrade feels like a downgrade for you, because last week you had stretches, this week you have vibes and confusion. Hi, I'm Treasure, and I help exhausted parents make baby sleep feel clear again, without the guilt, the guessing, or the internet spiral. And if you're watching this at 2 in the morning, I'm really glad you found me. Let's start with the truth nobody says clearly. The 4-month progression usually isn't a random phase. It's a real shift in how your baby's sleep cycles are structured. Here's what's actually changing under the surface. Around this age, many babies move into more defined sleep cycles, with lighter stages and more noticeable checkpoints between cycles. So the wake-ups you didn't see before, you see now. Not because your baby is trying to mess with you, but because their sleep is maturing and they're easier to rouse. That's why it can look like hourly waking, sudden short naps, or false starts where bedtime goes fine and then boom, they're up again in 30 to 60 minutes. And when you're exhausted, your brain goes straight to, this is my fault. You're not failing. You're watching a normal developmental change collide with real life, which is already doing the most. Before we go deeper, here's one calming thought that changes everything. This stage doesn't demand you do one perfect method. It just asks you to get consistent about a few basics so your baby can move through the new sleep pattern without getting stuck in a loop. By the way, if you want all of this laid out clearly, grab my free guide, The Modern Parent Sleep Roadmap, the guide I wish I had at 2 in the morning. The link is in the description and on the screen. Now let's make the chaos make sense. There are a few common patterns that turn the 4-month shift into a full-blown meltdown. And most parents accidentally hit all of them in the same week because you're tired and you're just trying to survive. One pattern is timing. At this age, being a little too overtired can create more wake-ups, and being a little undertired can create long parties at bedtime or those bright-eyed night hangouts nobody asked for. And the hard part is it can look the same when you're in it. Your baby fights sleep, wakes a lot, and you're standing there thinking, cool, so what did I do wrong this time? Another pattern is the bedtime patchwork plan. You change 5 things in 3 nights because you're desperate, and then you can't tell what actually helped. Another big one is sleep onset associations getting louder. If your baby always falls asleep with a very specific thing happening, like feeding to sleep, rocking until fully out, or being held until the exact millisecond their eyelashes stop moving, the new lighter checkpoints can make them notice when that thing is missing. And that doesn't mean you did something bad. You did something that worked until your baby's sleep changed and it stopped working as well. Let me myth bust a few things that make this stage worse. Keeping your baby up later to wear them out usually backfires because overtired babies don't sleep deeper, they often sleep messier. Another myth is, if I respond quickly, I'm creating a bad habit. Responding isn't the problem. Responding in 10 different ways every night because you're panicking is what makes the pattern sticky. And the last one I want you to release is the idea that this is your one shot. Like if you don't fix it in 3 nights, you're doomed until college. You're not doomed. You just need a simpler plan than the internet is offering you. Now, let's talk about what helps, starting tonight. Not a full protocol, not a personality change, just the fewest moves that create momentum. The first move is protecting bedtime timing. If bedtime has drifted later and later because naps got weird, pull it back gently, because this age often does better with an earlier, more protected bedtime when sleep is wobbly. You're looking for sleepy but not fried. If your baby is melting down, arching, screaming, or getting that wired second wind, that's usually too late. The second move is consistency with your wind down. Same order, same vibe, same cues, even if the timing changes a little. It doesn't need to be long, it needs to be predictable. because predictability is what helps a baby's nervous system settle when sleep is changing. The third move is choosing one main way your baby falls asleep and making it repeatable. Not perfect, just repeatable. If feeding to sleep is the only way, you don't have to rip it away overnight. But you do want to gently separate feeding from the final moment of falling asleep when you can, even by a small amount, so your baby practices drifting off in a way that can be repeated at those new sleep checkpoints. Sometimes that looks like feeding earlier in the wind down, then a burp, a cuddle, and down. Sometimes it looks like putting your baby down drowsy and supporting them in the crib instead of doing the entire process in your arms. And yes, you might hear some protest. Protest is not the same thing as harm, and it's not the same thing as abandonment. If your baby is a little more sensitive, more easily startled, or gets overwhelmed by sound and light, this is where tiny environment tweaks matter more. Dark room, steady white noise, comfortable temperature, and a wind down that stays calm. Because sensory overload can make these sleep checkpoints feel like full wake-ups. Let's talk about night waking, because this is where parents feel the most trapped. When your baby wakes, your goal is to respond with a plan instead of a roulette wheel. Start by asking one simple question. Is this likely hunger, or is this likely a resettle moment? If your baby is truly hungry, feed your baby. We're not here to ignore hunger, but if it's been a short amount of time, your baby is lightly fussing, and you know they can sometimes resettle, give a brief pause before you jump in. Not to be cold, but to give your baby a chance to do the tiny skill they might already be capable of. If the fuss escalates, you respond. And you try to respond the same way each time for a few nights, so your baby isn't getting a brand new experience at every wake up. Here's a mistake I see smart, loving parents make during this stage. They accidentally teach their baby every wake up becomes a full reset. Lights on, big talking, full play mode, phone glare in the baby's face while you Google why do I hate everyone, and then suddenly it's a whole event. Keep it boring, dim, quiet, simple. Now let's talk about naps, because naps tend to fall apart right alongside nights. Short naps at this age are common, especially when sleep cycles are shifting. So if your baby is doing 30 minutes and popping up refreshed like, "Hi, bestie," that doesn't mean you failed naps forever. It usually means timing and support need a small adjustment. Sometimes the win is a rescue nap. If one nap is short, you extend it by holding, rocking, or contact napping just to protect the total daytime sleep so bedtime doesn't become a disaster. That's not bad habits, that's strategy. Especially if you're working and you need nights to stabilize so you can function like a person. Now I want to tell you something that's going to feel oddly specific. If you change everything because of the regression, you often end up with a brand new routine you don't even like, and your baby still wakes up. So pick your priority. Protect bedtime timing, keep the wind down consistent, and choose one approach to falling asleep that you can repeat. Most families see improvement when those pieces stop shifting every night. Not always instantly, but steadily, because your baby's brain loves patterns. Okay, now I want to say the part nobody wants to say out loud. Sometimes the 4-month regression ends, but the wake-ups stay, because a new pattern got built during survival mode. And that's not because you did something wrong. It's because you did what worked at 3 in the morning. If that's where you are, I want you to hear this clearly. You don't have to white knuckle it until your baby magically figures it out. This is where getting a personalized plan can save you weeks of spiraling. And if you want that, I can help. I'll say this quickly and then I'll give you the exact payoff you're waiting for. I have a master's in social work, I'm a certified pediatric sleep consultant, and I'm the founder and CEO of Rested and Renewed Pediatric Sleep Consulting. And you can book a consultation when you're ready so we can build a plan that fits your baby and your real life. And if you're not ready to book, start with my free Modern Parent Sleep Roadmap and use it to stop guessing. Now let me give you the most important do this first move for the 4-month stage. Stabilize bedtime and stabilize how sleep starts. Not perfectly, not overnight, just consistently enough that your baby stops treating every sleep cycle like a brand new puzzle. If your baby is waking every 45 to 90 minutes, start there. That pattern usually points to a schedule mismatch, a sleep onset mismatch, or both. If your baby is doing false starts, don't assume your baby needs a later bedtime. Often it means your baby was too tired, too stimulated, or bedtime got rushed and inconsistent. And if your baby is doing early morning wake-ups now, don't panic and start the day at 4 in the morning forever. Treat it like a night waking, keep it dim and boring, and protect bedtime so the early wake doesn't become the new normal. Finally, here's when I would stop guessing and get extra support from your pediatrician. If your baby has a fever, breathing concerns, repeated vomiting, signs of dehydration, feeding difficulties, poor weight gain, or you feel in your gut that something is medically off, that comes first. And here's when I'd get sleep support. If you've been stuck in this pattern for weeks, you're back to hourly waking, or you and your partner are both fraying and it's starting to affect mental health and functioning at work, you don't need more tips, you need a plan. You're not failing. Your baby isn't broken. This stage is real and it's intense, but it can become the turning point where sleep finally starts to click. And in my next video, I'm going to show you the hidden reason so many regression fixes don't work and the one adjustment that makes everything feel easier fast. Tap the screen to watch my next video.